All right, folks, we're actually going to take a quick detour. We're going to do we're going to have ApfelSkai come in here, and we're going to do some art. We're going to vibe and hang out for a little bit while we get set up for the next run. Sky, take it away.
Hello. Oh my goodness. Good morning. Let's just say that I am happy that I got up early. But how is it going? Good morning, everyone.
It is going great so far. Chat is vibing. Everyone is cool. We chatted a little bit beforehand, and I know that you had mentioned that you were maybe trying to still figure out what game we were going to draw.
Yeah, so if anybody in the chat has any particular games that they'd like me to just... I mean, this is a speedrun event, so I figured we can do a bunch of doodles, see how quickly we can knock out some of the characters from all of the runs that have already happened so far. So if anybody has a specific character in mind, I'd love to see either drawing the character or drawing like PB in a cosplay. I think both of those would be pretty fun.
Yeah, so chat, if anybody has a favorite character or run from this weekend and wants to see some character art or a little PB cosplay, let us know. We see a PB Spider-Man.
Spider-Man would be fun. Let's see. Because the important thing, of course, you guys will not get to see quite as much as me because... we've got the canvas up for you, but getting reference, of course, very important. So let me snag. Oh gosh, where I've got the schedule open. I've been taking a look at all of the other runs that have happened already, just to figure out, because you know, busy man, busy day job over here. I tried watching a few of the runs earlier, but I did not get to see all of the ones that I was hoping to, so that'll be fun to go back to.
I understand.
But we can look up... Oh, you know what? We're gonna look up Spider-Man 2 for the GameCube, because that's the one that I played when I got my haircut as a kid. So that'll be excellent reference.
Okay, we're gonna go back for just 1 second. You played it when you got your haircut, specifically.
There was a very cool haircutting salon when I was a kid, and by cool I mean it was literally called Cool Cuts for Kids.
Yes.
And they had a bunch of game consoles at each of the haircutting stations, and Spider-Man 2 was for some reason the only one that I would ever end up at. Which, to be fair, I think it was the PlayStation 2 version, but I did not own a PlayStation 2. Or no, maybe it was that I didn't know any of the games on the PlayStation 2, so I always went to the one GameCube, and this was the one GameCube game that they had at the actual cutting stations. It's also, hilariously, where I tried a Zelda game for the first time. They had Wind Waker in the lobby area, but because it was in the lobby, players had already gotten like past the beginning of the game and they were just running around on Offset Island, and I had no idea what I was doing as a kid. So I would run around and just pick up pigs and like hope for the best, and then immediately get frustrated and be like, you know what, Legend of Zelda is not for me.
You know what, this is a bad game, actually.
Yeah, it turns out when you actually play the game from the beginning, it's an incredible game.
Yes, it is hot. This is maybe not a hot take anymore, but it's my favorite Zelda game.
I definitely still struggle to pick a favorite, but I also haven't played a ton of them. I think one that kind of took me by surprise that I actually really enjoyed, I wouldn't say it's my favorite, but it was like a surprise hit for me, was Triforce Heroes. I think Triforce Heroes is one of those ones that just not enough people got to play, so it got very slept on.
Yeah, I've never played that one.
But I also had a few friends that, oh gosh, I'm looking at this pose that I got, and it's very specific. So we're going to shrink our head on PB here for more space. Good thing about digital, being able to just acquire more canvas size whenever you need it. But yeah, I had some friends that were really lucky in that they could get just like these somewhat obscure video games. So not that Four Swords Adventure was particularly obscure, but they had like Four Swords and all of the connection pieces, even though as far as I know, I was the only person who could play it with them. But we ended up having like 3-player co-op for Four Swords. And so when the game came out that only had 3 players, we were like, oh, let's go.
This one's just for us.
And I really like Twilight Princess, but I think that might just be because it was the first one that I actually owned.
Twilight Princess was?
Yeah.
I
just
think
aesthetically a really good game, but as in terms of like the game design compared to a lot of the other ones, not as strong of a showing, but still like just aesthetically so cool.
Extremely cool aesthetically. And like, look, I am a furry who's 30 or 40 years old. I love to be Wolflink.
Yeah, hard agree. Transformation, incredibly cool. Also, like, you know, bisexual energy. No spoilers for the game that is, you know, like what 20 years old now, but Midna at the end of the game. That sure was a surprise that young teenage Sky was not particularly expecting.
Yeah.
All right, and we are going quick here. So if you guys have any others, any other game like fun cosplays in the chat, you will be shocked how quickly I will get these done once we get going. I am still waking up. It is 5:30 a.m. for me, so we're just ramping up.
I do have a couple donations with some suggestions.
Oh, absolutely. Let's go.
We have a $5 donation from Major Pepperoni, who asks, in honor of my late night snacking, can we get a drawing of Nun Pizza left beef?
I can absolutely get some Nun Pizza left beef for you.
Let's get some Nun Pizza left beef on here. And then they say, thanks to everyone for putting on such a fun marathon. Thank you, Major Pepperoni, for that $5 donation. And then maybe after that, we also have a $10 donation from Squeak Magazine, which any chance we can get your interpretation of a tasteful mouse doodle for the next issue of Squeak. And if you're unaware, Squeak is the risque magazine from Small Saga.
I haven't actually had a chance to like watch Small Saga, but that's a really good addition.
It's a really good addition. It's a great idea. And also, we're going to be real cool here. We got to be cool. But thank you, Squeak Magazine, for that donation. Both of those donations were put toward the Clair Obscur Expedition 33 Only Up incentive. And let me take a look and see where we're at on that. We are currently sitting at $70 out of $500, so we still have $430 left to raise there. That game is coming up here in a couple hours, so please get those donations in. Again, on the schedule, it might look like you got a little bit of time, but why wait? Why wait? Let's get some donations in now.
And then this was the one thing that I had to make sure was Absolutely included. I made a piece for Neon White as well because that is one of my favorite games. I was so happy to see it in the marathon. Um, but also PB has like an incredibly thick tail, and I find that so charming. And I'm making sure that it is included because even though we do have a secret identity here, um, that doesn't mean the tail can't be visible.
Oh yeah, everyone's got a secret identity, and it's mostly just like you can't see my cheeks.
my my what is it, the my brow line is obscured.
Yeah.
How will you ever be able to know who I am? Only seeing my eyes and my mouth and the rest of my head, but just not my cheekbones. It's fine.
Wow, look at them.
All right, and then this is the fun part of not doing any technical drawing is I just get to draw a bunch of lines and not really think about where they should be.
Yeah, no. Seems to be lore accurate webbing.
Oh, the textbook, yeah. Sonic Mega mentioning the textbook diagrams. I will say, one of the fun things about my particular training as an artist is I had the benefit of having a drawing teacher that also had a degree in like anatomy.
Oh wow.
And one of the things that meant was learning all of the superficial muscle groups, the ones that are visible, like without having to cut the body open. And it lets me scare people. So it turns out there's a few names of muscles that turn on Twitch's auto mod. So I don't know if I should necessarily mention them
no.
here, but one of them is the big front muscle on the leg, because it lifts up the femur. But there is another word for lifts up that is used in Latin. There's also gastrocnemius, the calf muscle. Uh, yeah, muscle diagrams do come into play pretty heavily with my drawing, so it's very charming to see somebody actually recognize that. All right,
So
cool. There is our funny little PB Spider-Man.
wow. I love it.
Set that off to the side over here. Well, let me make sure it is visible on screen. There we go. All right, and then we have a nun pizza left beef.
None pizza left
Let's
beef.
get that going. Ooh. And again, this is a great opportunity for me to remind everybody, for those of you who draw or want to start drawing, nothing better than looking up reference. You would be incredibly surprised because there are like I'm finding out 12 different references, like 12 different reference images of nun pizza left beef. Some of them are more sad than others, which I find very charming.
Yes, thank you, that Freckles. References are not cheating.
If references were cheating, we would never have learned APA citations as children. Actually, I guess MLA. MLA was child.
Yeah.
APA was college? I don't remember.
Yeah, I think so, or Chicago style or something.
Ooh, that's true. I was not East Coast, so it might have been Chicago style for some folks.
I went to school in the Midwest, so I guess that would make sense.
One of the funniest regional things about the United States that the Midwest is technically East.
I know. Well, okay. So this is a hot debate because I live in Chicago now, but I grew up in Kansas, and Kansas considers themselves part of the Midwest because we are literally in the middle. But people from like the Great Lakes region do not agree. So I guess, hey, chat, does anybody have a hot take on that? Because I, as a native Kansan, I feel like that's the Midwest. I think Colorado is not the Midwest, but Kansas is.
See, and I grew up in Colorado, and it was so hard like picking a region that we thought was appropriate. I've realized, because the Rockies isn't really a recognized region.
Yeah,
it's just kind of the mountains that happen to exist. So there's some places that agree that Colorado is Southwest, and some that believe that Colorado is too far north to be Southwest.
Sonic Mega saying Kansas is just mid. Which, look, it's home. I have a soft spot for it. It's not my favorite place on earth, but
see, I'm making the left beef too. The left beef is too regular. It's not sad enough.
We must start over.
There we go. We've got a couple pieces of beef that are just not on the pizza.
Yeah.
They've already fallen off. You can choose to eat them later if you want. But yeah, let me look at my list, because like I said, I've been a busy man day job. So I had the stream up while I was at work, but then I would end up in meetings for an hour or more.
Same.
So I got to catch a little bit of the Neon White run, which, like I said, was kind of a requirement, considering that that's the one that I did art for. That run is really, really cool, by the way. Like, definitely, if you guys are checking into the marathon now, I'm assuming that these showcases are all going to be recorded and posted somewhere, whether that be the Twitch VOD or I'm not sure if we've got them in other places, but
there is a YouTube page where they will all be added shortly after the event ends. And chat, if you want to go ahead and yes, pick that up. Thank you, Ruffy. It's !YouTube in chat. You follow that link and you can subscribe there, and all of the VODs from this marathon will be there shortly after the event.
So definitely, like, if you guys are curious, if you're just checking in now and you haven't had a chance to look at the schedule, I believe that there's a schedule below in the About section of the stream. But I've got that open. I've got a list of ones that I want to go check out. I also got to see pieces of Metal Hellsinger. That was super cool. Anytime you get a rhythm game on one of these marathons, I get super excited.
Yeah, extremely cool.
I think you mentioned before I joined, Planet Robobot. Somebody was mentioning in chat was one of their
Mhm.
favorite runs. Oh gosh, that is one of the few games that I have actually played myself. So I'm very curious what a speedrun of that one looks like as well.
Yeah, it was an any percent run, and it was pretty much just playing the game as intended, but very fast. It was a really fun run. It was great energy in the chat for that too.
All right, we've got our none pizza left beef. I think I'm going to be a little bit cheeky, and we're going to put some oregano on it. Just to make it a little bit less sad. Though now it looks really, really tasty, I will say. As soon as you add any seasoning to bread, I'm just like, oh my gosh. Best thing ever.
It's true.
All right, let me scroll up in chat. Did we have any other requests? Let's take
Someone
a
did
look.
mention Neon White.
Gastroc Nemius is my favorite Hades character. Oh my gosh.
We had one up further that was PB as Skate from Streets of Rage 4, which was also a really cool run.
Let's see if we can get a... Oh, this is a really funny reference. It pulled up a YouTube video about how to unlock the character.
Yes.
But there is such a compressed, terrifying looking smile for the character because of how low res the original image is. Oh, this will be fun though. Okay. And I know we've got that only up for Clear Obscure. Are there any other ongoing incentives?
Yes, actually. Thank you so much for that perfect little segue. We just opened 2 new incentives for y'all to donate toward. First of all, we have the Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask file name bid war. And that will be going on until the start of the Majora's Mask run. And then we also have a skin bid war for Karurin Squash, and that also cuts off at the start of that run. So if you all have opinions or interest in any of those, please get your donations in and put them toward those bid wars, as well as the Expedition 33 Only Up incentive, which still goes until that run. So we got lots of options for you now.
Skin bid war is unsettling. I agree.
Skin bid war.
the damage that has been done by calling cosmetics skins.
So I always like to ask, I am not a visual artist by any stretch of the imagination. I was always in like theater and music and that kind of thing. But how long have you been doing this?
So I have been drawing, oh gosh, I've been drawing like quite literally since I was probably 2. As far as what you could consider professional art, I think I'm up to 13 years now. I think it's been 13 years since I originally took something that you could call a commission, which was probably like $5 from my friend from DeviantArt. But technically that counts as paid work, everyone. And remember, you are a professional if you take money for something.
You are.
So yeah, about 13 years professionally, and then I tried freelance between. So I work in game dev right now, but I did full-time freelance for just about 2 or 3 years outside of all of my different jobs. Um, so lots and lots of experience. But one of those in particular was, um, I did caricatures at an amusement park for the summer. Um, Worst job that I've ever taken. Uh, do not be a contractor of a contractor. That is not a good that is not a good position to be in. Because I think I made 20% commission, no wage. So for a $10 black and white drawing, we made $2 plus if the
Wow.
people were nice enough to tip. I think we were the only people allowed in the park to take tips. Um, but that is definitely something that influenced how quickly I can draw, because in order to make any amount of money, you have to learn how to be quick. But
Yeah, I
also
bet.
because caricatures, by nature, caricatures are like people trying to uh, draw somebody who is not planning to be there for the entire day, because they'd like to actually enjoy the amusement park. And also a lot of children who don't know how to sit still. So it was great, kind of like forced life drawing. Let's see, and we got some fun fingerless gloves. I definitely something that I still wish that I owned in my adulthood. Ever since I saw Ash Ketchum on television.
I was just about to say, I think I was Ash for Halloween one year and I got a pair of fingerless gloves. I was probably 10. Uh, and yeah, that's just stuck with me.
The way that I've described it to people, is that if I could pick like a fashion sense for myself that worked and that I could actually find clothing for, it would be like if Studio Trigger animated the Pokemon anime.
Ooh, that's so cool.
I don't think that I'm not going to say I can't pull it off. I feel like that would be doing myself a disservice, but I will say that that is an aesthetic that you can't just buy clothing for.
Yeah.
All right, we
Yes,
got
Briggle, Biker Mice from Mars was your fingerless glove awakening. That's so valid.
get PP's little heart-shaped nose in there.
So adorable. Chat, speaking of Pokemon, this is not about Pokemon. But what was like your thing as a kid? What was your childhood, like your favorite childhood show? The thing that was like this defined your young childhood? Because for me it was Ninja Turtles. Code Lyoko.
We love Canadian forehead anime.
I have never seen. I know what Code Lyoko looks like because to me, it is hard to look at. But I have never seen a second of that show. I don't even know what it's about.
It's actually pretty cool as far as like so the idea is that it would teach you life lessons. And those life lessons could be like not lying to people or not being disrespectful. But they would do it in a situation where like the characters are the ones that make the mistake. So it's the protagonists that are the jerks. And then they have to save the world from a I was about to say something, but I will hold off on using that particular verbiage. But they have to they have to stop a giant AI program um, that wants to take over the world or otherwise end the world. And then after they beat whatever the villain of the week is that the AI has put together, they get to reverse time and learn from their mistakes.
Okay. I kind of like that.
And it's got because it was one of the first, it wasn't the first, of course, but it was one of the first kind of big production kids shows that was using both 2D and CG. Which meant that it had, like, you know, for the time, really, really cool action scenes because they were animated in 3D instead of 2D. So they had a little bit more fun to, like, you get a little bit higher frame rate for something that is lower budget than an actual movie or anime.
Yeah.
Yeah, the reversing time thing was the one thing that I did not remember until I tried rewatching it as an adult. And I say tried not because I don't want to keep watching it, but because, you know, there sure is a lot more to watch now.
There are so many things to watch. There are some really good answers in chat, though. We got Sailor Moon. We got Digimon. Blaze says TMNT, Power Rangers, and SWAT Cats. All of those were all so important to me. Spirited Away, which is one of my like top 5 like desert island movies for sure.
Actually, conveniently for me, one of my big childhood ones is just now being added into Fortnite. It's Scooby-Doo.
Scooby-Doo Fortnite. First name Scooby-Doo, last name Fortnite.
Last name Fortnite.
Zoids. Oh my god, I forgot about Zoids. And Reboot. I wanted to be Enzo in Reboot so bad. His name was Enzo, right? I didn't just make that up. It came to me instantly, so I don't know if it was just my brain just picking a name out of the ether or if that was actually hidden away somewhere. Yes, Zoids, every episode took place in a big empty plane. Johnny Quest. Yeah, all those like old Hanna-Barbera shows that were on like Cartoon Network in the mid to early 90s and before. Now, Yuki in chat brings up the Donkey Kong Country TV show. And specifically asked if there are any enjoyers. And I sure watched it. I don't know if enjoyer is the word I would choose. The DK show is all on YouTube for free. Okay, well, I know what I'm doing after the marathon is over. Donkey Kong is when you put on a high school play but cast Broadway actors for it. I'm obsessed with that. Ian Keith, we're kind of just talking about stuff that was important to us as kids. TV shows from your childhood.
There's one that I keep forgetting the name of because it's so obscure. Nobody remembers it. It had a very short-lived toy line, but if anybody can remember the name in chat, I promise you it's real. There was a show where there was it was kind of like Power Rangers, where there was like the funny creature costumes, the really impressive funny creature costumes. And they were kind of like aliens, and the main character was a teenage boy who could turn his arms into jet plane wings. And I spent so many years trying to figure out what the heck the name of this show was, because nobody believed me that it was a real thing, but I had remembered getting up at like 6 a.m. one time to go watch my Saturday morning cartoons, because the only time slot that it was on was 6 a.m. Yeah, it was Galador.
Galador.
That was one of the first transformation shows that I watched. Was just this kid that like was just like, I need to fly over this small chasm. Let me change my arms into jet wings real quick. Galador and the Defenders of the something. Galador, Defenders of the Outer Dimension. Yes.
Whoa.
And it was just like something that I thought I had a fever dream about until I finally managed to find it, like probably 2 or 3 years ago. Keep in mind, this is a show that I watched when I was like 5 or 6. And just everybody was like, oh, you're talking about Max Steel. And I was like, no, I'm not talking about Max Steel. This was some live action stuff. Absolutely terrifying, by the way, but terrifying in the way that pretty much anything from the 80s and early 90s is, when you start putting creature designs in it.
Yeah, I guess that's fair.
Okay. Well, this guy's got some white shorts on. That is very oh gosh, I'm trying to think of the word, but like, you have to be a particular kind of skater to wear white clothing. Because you're just going to fall on the dirt.
You are going to fall. You just have to be extremely cool and extremely confident. Although I watched that run, and this person spent a lot of time sort of doing like pinwheel kicks from the ground. So maybe white was not the best choice.
Yeah, maybe not going to escape needing to wash all of your clothes when you get home.
I love how much personality is added as soon as you put the spots over the eyes.
Yeah, this is one of those pieces of advice that I give for pretty much everybody who is like, I was lucky enough to do a panel actually at another furry convention, shortly to be renamed to Anthro SoCal. But while I was there, I did a panel about drawing faster and drawing more confidently. And one of the things that I brought up is just like so much of drawing fast or like selling an idea is just picking out the things that are the most important for a character and just like honing in on those small things. It's like the challenges that people do where they'll just give you a swatch of colors and people can recognize which characters they are from like the 5 colors.
Oh yeah.
Because there's so much of that. I think that's true for especially a lot of the games in the marathon. Like the ones that kind of people remember from their childhood. Usually, you're dealing with sprites that don't have a lot of detail, so a lot of the character recognition comes from just like very very simple shapes and colors, which ties great into doing fast art as well, not just speed running. All right, so we're just about wrapped up here. Let me get the nice silver chain. Yeah, thank you whoever recommended to do Skate from Streets of Rage, because this is a very fun outfit.
Yeah, very fun design.
Ties very well into our conversation about nostalgia bait, for lack of a better term. All right, cool.
All right, well, thank you so much, Sky. We really appreciate that. Do you want to give any shout outs or let folks know where they can find you?
Yeah. Obviously, shout out Trans Lifeline. Like this marathon is entirely on their behalf to raise money. So absolutely shout outs to them. You guys can find me. I think we have a link, but yeah, ApfelSkai.art. I don't think I have a link to it on there, but if you guys look me up on YouTube as well, like I said, I've got a 2-hour panel. So after you guys are done with the marathon, if you want to marathon another 2-hour recording, if you want to learn to draw quicker, I got a chance to record my panel at the event, and so that was a lot of fun. So tying it back into speedrunning, like you can do a lot of things quickly. Games are one of them. Art is one of them.
I love that. Well, thank you so much. We really appreciate you lending us your talents here today.
Awesome. And thank you so much, Otto, for being an awesome host. Thank you to Fastest First for having me.